Yo, 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 welcome back to the Fantasy Football Pizzeria Podcast. I am your host, Zach Sicardi. With me always is my co-host, John Marler.
Good evening, Zach.
What's up, man? How are you?
I am baller. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Happy to be here, man. It's been a while for us.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, man. It's going to be a good one, dude.
Thanks for holding down and doing episodes while I was out taking care of baby stuff.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun, man. You know, doing it, being able to just sort of do the format and, make sure that we were still having fun with it and stuff and, keeping it going. So, hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
I listened to the episodes and your voice was very soothing.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm glad I did all that with my AirPods. Shout out to the AirPods. But yeah, it was easier than I thought, man. Honestly. I love being here doing this, but I was glad I was able to keep the quality pretty decent and not have to, sound like I was from Mars or something.
And sorry if I'm putting you on the spot because we didn't discuss this ahead of time, but you're branching out in the podcast world. You're going to be featured on another fantasy football podcast, and you also got a separate podcast of your own. Do you want to let people know, since this will be our last episode until next season?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm actually going to be on a podcast I'm going to record Wednesday. I believe it comes out Thursday or Friday. It's called No Punt Intended. I'm in a league with one of the guys from there named Josh. Really, really awesome guy. He's a great competitor, and he had asked me to come on and talk a little bit about quarterbacks. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, man. I'll be excited to just go on and talk a little bit more fantasy football and just trying something new.
That's awesome, man. I like the name too. It reminds me of the classic play where a quarterback snaps the ball and doesn't intend to punt it, but then does.
yeah.
I assume that's what the name is a reference to.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. It'll be a lot of fun. I listened to an episode today, and it was really good. Josh definitely knows his shit. Has a good head on his shoulders. As far as his breakdown of players, and in the league that we were in, he was really, really competitive and just made it a lot of fun. So I'll be happy to join him and his co-host on Wednesday.
That's awesome, man. I look forward to listening to it.
Hey, thank you, man. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, dude. I honestly, when it comes to quarterbacks and fantasy, I'm not as diligent as I am with other positions. Although I do, of course, it is, one you have to obviously know your shit, but it's just sort of funny that I want to go on and talk a little bit about quarterbacks over any of the other positions per se, but I'm just happy to do it, and it'll be kind of not necessarily a challenge, but something that'll be fun to kind of, focus on and really, break down. So I think I sent him my preseason rankings so we can compare, to see kind of how it all ended up for the quarterback position. Excuse me.
Cool. And I'm sure you'll also, let people know about it on the Instagram so they can check it out.
Yes, definitely. I will let y'all know about where you can hear it, so that way, y'all can hear me speak about some quarterbacks and represent the pizzeria.
Awesome, man. And it's a different genre, but give people a quick heads up of what your solo podcast is about.
Yeah, so doing this podcast has really made me want to just keep on speaking and talking, about things that I love and enjoy. So I'm doing a podcast that is about self-care and self-expression. I just really go on there and talk about music and fitness, poetry, life. I talk about my dog and just that whole journey of taking care of oneself. And it's been fun. I've done 2 episodes so far. Excuse me. And it's really cool. I mean, I just, talk about stuff that I.
This is the news.
News! That's awesome.
I'll mute that. There we go.
Cool. But yeah, dude, it's definitely fun, man, to be able to just kind of be creative and speak my piece and, do something a little bit different, a little bit more personal, and also just being able to kind of have a place where I can go to vent and kind of, keep myself, as I said, creative. So real excited about it. It's called the True Blue Podcast. You can find it pretty much on Spotify, YouTube, and then if you go on Instagram, Twitter, it's podcast True Blue. So a lot of fun, doing it so far. I'll be, doing it over the next couple months.
Awesome, man. Well, we will look forward to that as well. And let's go ahead and get this episode started with talking about what the agenda is for this episode.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, so we're going to just go over a bit of a recap of the 2019 season. We're going to keep it brief, but we're going to have some fun with it and just talk about, some of the end results, give you a quick recap of our seasons here in fantasy, go over some yearly awards, and of course give you our pizza review, song of the week, and then maybe talk a little bit about what'll be going on this year for the Fantasy Football Pizzeria podcast.
Awesome, man. Let's get into it.
Awesome. So what I did is I just pretty much gathered all the top 12 at each position, and I'm gonna go over each position, see if we can have John guess. I told him like probably a couple weeks ago not to look at anything as far as any of the final results and where everyone ended up, so we can kind of make it fun and see just how things can be easier to predict or just a totally different case here at the end of the season. So we'll start with quarterbacks here.
And I'm just going to give myself a precursor of an excuse that my brain, as soon as championship week was over, I kind of shut my brain off to fantasy. And so I think I'm going to be pretty rusty and pretty bad at my guesses. But that could also make it more fun. So let's see how it goes.
Hell yeah. And I feel the same way. I've been in Disneyland ever since I won those Super Bowls. And I just kind of shut off. It's such a grind. And props to everyone who's still on Twitter, still doing their thing, playing in all these playoff championships and all this shit on it, NFL.com, and, keeping up with everything and the 2020 class and all this. But I personally just need a little bit of a break because playing so many leagues and, fortunate enough to have won some and, just all what it takes. And it's nice to just take a break. So good, man. I'm kind of glad that you're going to be looking at this with some fresh eyes. All right, so we went half PPR here because it's right down the middle, so we can go over. So we'll do 6 at a time, just so that way we can break down the top 12 here. So if you want to start us, John, who you think's finished? Let's do the top 6.
All right, for quarterback.
Quarterback, yes.
All right, I got to go. I guess I got to go Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Is that correct? Or you want me to do 6 at a time and then?
Yeah, let's do 6 at a time.
Okay. So we got Lamar Jackson. I would have to guess is number 1, if not definitely in the top 6. After that, maybe Deshaun Watson. Maybe some. I know he was weaker towards the end of the year, but thinking of Russell Wilson. I would say Drew Brees, except he got hurt and was gone a lot of the time. So he's probably, or multiple weeks, I should say. So he's probably not there. So I feel like I should have probably written out my predictions before this episode.
Hey, it's all good, dude. We're just, we're just chilling here. It's just the realness, man. It's all good.
Let's see. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't super impressive. Feels like quarterbacks were kind of underperforming.
Yeah, quarterbacks are, they're a onesie position.
I remember earlier on in the season when we were tracking the top 5, Andy Dalton was up there for a while. So
yeah, dude, so wild.
But he got sat for a while. So
yeah.
I know for at least late in the season, Dak Prescott was leading in passing, so I would expect him to be up there. And let me see who else. All right, well, let me hear what the top 6 are based off of that.
So the top in quarterbacks for 2019 was Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
And then second was Dak Prescott with 348.9 points.
Okay.
Third, Jameis Winston.
Oh.
335.2.
Okay.
Fourth is Russell Wilson.
Okay. Higher than I thought, but I thought he'd be up there.
Fifth is Deshaun Watson.
Okay. Cool. So I got the top 5 other than Jameis Winston.
And then 6.
Jared Goff.
Not this year. Definitely not this year. Josh Allen.
Oh, wow. That's surprising. I mean, I know that he had some solid weeks in there, but I remember streaming him 1 or 2 weeks, and those were unfortunately not the best weeks to stream him, and he didn't do well. So, but that's surprising that he made the top 6.
Yeah, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him in one league I was fortunate enough to win, and I didn't end up playing him at the end, but He definitely got me through a couple of weeks more than I thought.
That's awesome, dude.
So what do you think about the final 6? Why don't we do 3 at a time, so that way we can just make it easier on the brain.
Okay.
So we'll do 7, 8, 9.
Is Carson Wentz in there?
He is.
Okay. Is Andy Dalton in there?
He's not. I think you're forgetting an obvious one, but there's also 2 more, so one not so obvious.
Kyle Allen in there?
No. So I'll give you one more guess.
Gardner Minshew.
No, but okay. So at 7 is Kyler Murray,
Oh, I should have known that.
who we had on our Dino League. Props to us.
That should have been obvious to me.
Oh yeah. 8 is Patrick Mahomes.
Oh.
You ever heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard of him, yeah. He was kind of more invisible to me this season.
Yeah, he was a first round pick to a lot of people in home leagues.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
9 is Carson Wentz.
Okay.
And then do you want to guess the next tree?
I feel like I'm not doing a good job, so I think
It's
we should
okay, man.
just say who they are.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm cool with that. Aaron Rodgers, number 10.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Ryan, number 9. Or
Pretty
pardon
good.
me, number 11.
Pretty good, despite having a rough season as a team and then also being injured part of the season.
Yeah, that's a game I'm really excited to watch this week. Where they're playing the Vikings, right? I think. Or they're playing I forget. Fuck. I'm just
Matt Ryan is?
No, definitely not. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then 11 is Matt Ryan, and then 12 is Tom Brady.
Oh, okay. So he cracked the top 12.
He did, yep. Pretty interesting, man. You know, especially if you go through this list and you think about, gosh, man, like Dak Prescott had such shitty weeks, but he still held it down with coming in as the second. Lamar Jackson, happy to see that, man. I was just a couple years ago sick of having so many bad performances from quarterbacks. I needed that solid floor, so I grabbed him in a couple dynasty leagues and then a lot this year. So, but yeah, seeing Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes finished 8th, especially from where he was drafted, and but I mean he was also injured too, and just the way that team has played this season. But yeah, pretty interesting list, man.
Yeah, I'd say for me the biggest surprises are Josh Allen, maybe Kyler Murray, because people were still pretty high on him, especially being a running quarterback, and then definitely Jameis Winston at number 3.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't have predicted that.
He had 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
Yeah, 30 for 30.
30 for 30, yeah. All right, so what do you say? What do you think about running back? Well, let's just do 3 at a time just to make it easy on the brain.
All right. So, number 1, I got to go Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, there you go. Good job. You hate this next guy. I'll give you hints to make this a little bit more of a flow.
Okay. I hate this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of running backs that I hate. Just on a personal level?
Not really personal, just like how it ended up for you.
Got it. And I should know this even just from pure fantasy, but Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, exactly, number 2.
Yeah, he tore it
290
up.
points.
I know he had injuries and was rough in the middle. Is Saquon Barkley 3?
No, but that's not a bad guess.
Okay.
Number 3 is the leading rusher this season.
Okay, Derrick Henry.
Very good, Derrick Henry.
Cool.
Right on. Can I just also point out that Christian McCaffrey, his points compared to Aaron Jones, who came in second, has like a 180 point difference or something.
Really?
Like that.
180
Something
point
like
difference.
that. Yeah, please don't.
Which is saying
quote
something, because Aaron Jones, I mean, I know that he didn't get high yardage in some games, but he had some of those monster touchdown games.
4 fucking touchdowns, yeah.
Multiple weeks, so.
Christian McCaffrey got 413 points. Aaron Jones got 290.
Dang, dude.
I know, I'm looking at it now. I'm like, wow. My brain's like, fuck, that's... So, what do you think about 4, 5, 6?
Let's see.
4 is not playing. His team didn't make the playoffs.
Did not make the playoffs.
Did not make the playoffs. He was probably drafted first, second overall. And it's not Saquon. Who would you draft first overall if not for Christian McCaffrey?
Like right now, or?
Yeah, sure. Now going, who's your boy usually draft first overall? When he
Zeke.
Exactly, Zeke.
Okay. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
there.
And then 5 is still playing in the playoffs.
Kamara,
No, they're not playing.
Dalvin Cook.
Very good, man.
Yeah.
Yep. That the player kicked him out. And 6 is a player that definitely is not playing in the playoffs, but we were fortunate enough to own him.
Kenyon Drake.
No, but we own him and his counterpart in our fantasy or in our dynasty league.
Melvin Gordon.
The other guy.
Oh, Eckler.
Eckler, check it out. Finished 6th.
I mean, throughout the season, he had some pretty awesome stats in terms of from the notifications and stuff we would see where he had the highest catch rate and yards after the catch and
Amazing, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, I liked him, but it always seemed like San Diego underused that kind of like pass catching running back. It seems like they always have, but I guess because of Melvin Gordon's holdout, that helped establish Eckler more in the beginning, and then he was so good they continued to use him.
Dude, he's I'm pretty sure he's an unrestricted free agent. Or sorry, he was undrafted. No, pardon me, he's an undrafted rookie, and like he's one of the best ones ever. Great, I had him in a bunch of leagues this year, and he's someone I took note of in the past couple seasons. Happens kind of every year where you get like kind of eye a certain player, and you're like, man, this player really came through. He's definitely not like your first, your RB1, of choice, but here we are at number 6. So I mean, he's someone that like I'm happy to see him represent. And there's definitely other guys on this list who are kind of the Austin Eckler of this season, as far as like, man, where you drafted him and the attention that he's gotten this year, over exceeded definitely where he was picked. So what do you think about 7, 8, 9er?
Chris Carson in there?
He's not.
Oh wow,
Sadly,
that's surprising. That
he's on the way though.
Didn't Can you give me a hint of the next player?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do it. Great player. We don't own him at all. He let's see here. Got one of my favorite football names ever. I asked him what kind of pizza he liked, and he likes meat lovers.
Oh, I should remember this. Yeah, because he responded to you.
I tried to trade for him from you like last year. I tried to give you like, I forget who. I wanted him with. I was gonna trade you James Conner. I was gonna try to get him.
Oh wow, and I turned down James Conner.
Yeah. He's like a first round, second round pick this year. He was not at all last year. He was like a end of the draft pick.
Oh, Ray Rice.
Close.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb.
Oh, Nick Chubb. Yeah. That's right. That's so cool that he responded to you, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's going with the brand. He's I think at the time, or maybe still, is a Pizza Hut representative, and he hit me with the meat lovers, which I'm sure that every damn thing has a meat lovers, but just that
that he stuck with it.
Yeah, kind of stuck with the brand.
And he was, late into the season, he was leading the NFL
in rushing,
right? And then Henry overtook him at the end.
He had he needed like 19 yards or something, or 12 yards, and Derrick Henry busted out 40-yard touchdown. So all right, well there you go.
Cool, man.
And then number 8, he was on the Saints. He got traded. He's not on the Saints anymore.
Oh, Ingram.
Ingram, hell yeah, represent. Love Ingram.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with how he did. I really wasn't sure what to expect because Baltimore's run game last year just seemed like every other week you really didn't know who was going to perform, but he has really been consistent with them.
Yeah, I was happy to see how well he did this season.
And I liked him a lot in the Saints. I'm not a Baltimore fan, but, especially in that post-game interview where he was talking up Jackson and that other Raven player was cranking, doing some dancing. It's hard not to like that.
Yeah. I mean, dude, come on, totally. And then number 9.
Is that the hint?
No, that's not the hint at all. Sorry, that's like a weird like Yoko Ono thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, number 9. He.
Okay, it's a man.
It's a man. Okay.
Okay.
His team is from Florida.
All right. Leonard Fournette.
Very good, Leonard Fournette, man. Right. Lenny Fow.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of where I expected him.
He had a good year, man.
Yeah.
People were dogging him a little bit, but
especially for the team kind of overall underperforming.
Oh, totally, dude. I mean, he had such a crappy season last season. I know. I I owned him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was happy to see him come back this year.
And then he was always kind of a wild card in terms of like antics and behavior.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I don't know. Sometimes his thought process
seemed like there was less of that this year, but
yeah,
maybe there was just less focus because they weren't winning.
Possibly, but yeah, no, I didn't see anything that was too crazy as far as him just walling out and like getting fights or whatever.
Yeah.
And then number 10 is the number one overall pick in everyone's mind going into the season.
Oh, Saquon.
Saquon, yep. Yeah. Number 10.
Pretty, definitely.
Came through at the end.
Came through when it counted. Yeah, especially if you were playing championship weekend. I had him, and his performance was good enough to where I forgave him being injured and underperforming for several weeks before then. So,
yeah, dude, he was someone you just weren't benching, and I mean, still finished 10 overall with 218 points, but definitely expect Giants to take a step forward. Hopefully, getting the right coach and putting some things together. They had a decent showing with some players, with like Slayton. Daniel Jones did okay.
Yeah, no, I mean he had some big weeks that helped me out for sure.
Yeah, 5 fucking touchdown weeks, jeez. And then 11 is our boy CC, Chris Carson.
Oh yeah,
I just
had him in multiple teams. Yeah.
And then 12 is actually a player that most people also picked first overall, or not most people. I should say a lot of people next to Zeke.
So it must be Kamara.
It is Kamara, yeah.
Wow.
Disappointed a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely,
Kamara,
man.
208 points.
I saw him go number 1 in a couple of leagues, and kind of going back to the previous one. If you guys listened to some of our earlier episodes, in one league that Zach and I are in, the number 1 overall pick was Geronimo Allison.
No, yeah.
And I was the second pick. I was planning on choosing Christian McCaffrey because I assumed Saquon would go first. But since Geronimo Allison went first, I went with Saquon. At the time thinking I got a deal, but reflecting back on it, I wish I had gotten Christian McCaffrey, obviously based on how well he did this year. But either way, it's still a funny story.
Yeah, dude. And you still won that league.
Yeah.
So, fuck yeah. All right, so over to wide receiver here. We're going to go through the top 12 wide receivers of the 2019 season. So give me top 3.
Gotta go Michael Thomas.
Okay, good. Well done.
Who else? Really? Chris Godwin.
Yep, number 2.
And then number 3. I feel like Devontae Adams didn't do good enough long in the year. And then Kansas City had their own issues going on. Can you give me a hint for number 3?
Oh, yeah, sure. Alliteration in this person's name.
Oh, okay.
Meaning the first
letter of both first and last name are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lois Lane.
Like Lois Lane, yeah.
Or Lex Luthor.
There you go.
Or Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm. Pepperoni pizza.
I do like alliteration.
Me too. It just flows.
My daughter's name has alliteration intentionally.
Cool. I love that, dude. If I ever have kids, same thing here. It's going to have an S.
I became a fan of it because a lot of superhero or Superman characters have that.
Oh, that's cool. That's a pretty cool connection there.
Sorry, man. I'm blanking on.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's Julio Jones.
Oh, cool. Yeah, better than I expected, man.
Right,
he's always kind of like. He's kind of like the wide receiver that if he's there, you got to take him. But I'm always worried between the team underperforming and his injury, whether he's going to be in that top 3. So it's pretty cool to see that he made it through. He was a quiet number 3 this year.
Yeah, right. Wasn't he? Shit. So 4, 5, 6. Hint 4 is a white boy.
Was it Edelman?
No. Not a big guess, though.
Man, there's not that many. I should be
not
able
that
to
many.
guess.
His name could be alliteration, but it's not.
I don't know who.
Cooper Kupp.
Oh, Cooper Kupp. I should.
Cooper the Cupper.
I'm a big fan of Cooper Kupp. I had him in multiple leagues.
Oh yeah, me too.
He was kind of I would say he was a boomer bust. He had a couple bad weeks. I remember when he played against the Steelers defense. He had
that team sucked a cock a couple weeks for sure.
But even in games where it seemed like he wasn't going to do anything, he'd pull out a touchdown at the end or something. So cool. I'm a big Cooper Cup fan. Glad to see him there.
Yeah, hell yeah, me too. So 5 is probably my favorite wide receiver. I don't know if you would know who that
Brandon
is.
Marshall.
Active wide receiver.
Your favorite? It's not Brandon Cooks.
No, I owned him on 2 championship teams. Not to even know that, but just had to mention that.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, I give up.
his team's still in it. He's an AFC wide receiver. Wears number 10. It's the best player on his team. The other player's always damn injured. The other player is Will Fuller.
Oh, DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre. Yep, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I should have guessed
Cinco.
because he was pretty much the
Love
number
him.
1 wide receiver in most leagues. I saw Devontae Parker go in a few of them, but
Dude, I repeat. Oh my God. Love him. 5, or pardon me, now we're at 6 and 7. I didn't own any of these guys at all.
okay.
One of them plays in the Motor City. And then the other one plays in Miami.
Oh wow, Miami. So that's got to be Devontae Parker.
Can you believe it? He came at 7. But
Wow,
who's 6?
dude.
Who is 6?
Any other hint?
Yeah, any hints? There's a jazz musician who plays, I think, some form of saxophone with the same initials as this guy and takes his nickname.
I'm sorry, man. I'm blanking. Who is it?
It's cool. I'm not going to spend time with Kenny G. Kenny
Really?
Galladay, yeah, he finished 6.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is surprising.
yes, for fucking him and Kenny, dude. That's why doing this episode right here is all about Kenny Galladay.
I mean, I was thinking Detroit,
mainly
but I'm
Devontae
like,
Parker, but fuck, right?
I mean, yeah, I was like, I mean, it's got to be Galladay or Marvin Jones, but I'm just like, neither of those sound right.
I know, right? I mean, shit.
Did Megatron like come back and I missed it or something? But,
He had 215 points.
wow,
And
he
then,
must have really gotten those in chunks because it didn't feel like he was reliable every week.
DeAndre had 217, so 2 more points,
Wow,
separating 5 and 6.
that's crazy. And
Devontae
that's crazy that Devontae Parker is up that high.
he had 210, so 7 points. Devontae Parker could have been the wide receiver fucking 5 with another 20-yard touchdown or whatever.
Okay.
Crazy, right? Isn't that fucking insane? Number 7, Devontae Parker. This is fantasy football, what it's all about right here.
Yeah, and he was like, I remember him being solid like maybe the last half of the season.
God, so good. I didn't own him at all, and I told a friend not to play him 1 week.
Yeah, I had him in
Fucking
at
dumbo.
least 1 or 2 leagues, and it was awesome.
Hell yeah. All right, 8, 9, 10. 8 is a player who's always was often injured. I never drafted him. Always had his, or the past couple years, counterpart.
Mike Evans.
No, not a bad guess, though. This guy he wears number 13. His team has Mike Williams and Austin Eckler.
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You've always been I
Yeah,
wouldn't say a
kinda
hater, but a
just
non-believer
never-
in terms
yeah.
of drafting.
Where he's always been at, I'm like, I'll go somewhere else. It's an easy pass, even though
Yeah.
he's been a great player the past couple seasons.
Yeah, I gave this year. I was for the first time in a while cold on him. I was high on Keenan Allen the past 2 previous years, but after underperforming those years, I was staying away from him this year.
Yeah, dude, good call. I mean, he finished 8th overall, but not.
Not in a very Keenan Allen fashion.
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
he'll have some bigger games, but I just never felt great playing him.
So the next 3, one of them's a Patriot. The other one we have on our dynasty team, who I love, and then the other one is Amari Cooper.
All right, well, Patriot, I gotta assume Edelman.
Correct.
Okay,
He's 10. Cooper's 9.
and then sorry, what was the next hint?
The next hint is he was on our dynasty team that won this season called Extra Sauce.
Okay.
He plays opposite Anthony Miller.
Oh yeah, Allen Robinson.
Allen motherfucking Robinson.
Dude, I
Hell yeah,
I've been
dude.
a fan of his when he was in Jacksonville.
He's low
and I
key
was
good,
happy to
bro.
see him,
People-
and yeah,
I mean,
because he's on
shit.
the Bears, and they're not known as a pass happy team or a good offense in general. But that dude just pulled it out in a very quiet fashion. Doesn't get the respect he deserves.
205 points. Julian Edelman, Amari Cooper, and Keenan Allen, 206, 207, 209. So
All
he
very
could have
close.
easily been number 8 wide receiver, but finished number 11.
Imagine if that guy had a good
quarterback. I mean, look at him. He came from Blake Bortles, Mitch Trubisky, and then who the fuck knows next?
And he's still producing.
He's still producing. Yeah,
He was something.
That's the fantasy player that you want. Pay
Oh,
attention to this. That's the fantasy player for all people who aren't.
Yeah, he'll still probably go underappreciated next season.
Fine with me.
In your draft, yeah, I'm happy.
Fine by me.
But I had him on our fantasy or on our dynasty league, and at least in one other league. And
Me too.
he was a guy that I felt so good.
Me
playing
too.
every
Easy,
week.
easy start. I was like,
Easy.
whatever.
Yeah.
Love that. All right, so then we have one more.
One more. All right. What's the final hint?
I played on the same team as. Let me think of what player I want to mention.
The most obscure. Wayne
Let me think
Gallman.
of an obscure player on this team. I'm not gonna waste our time with that.
I need
but,
a Wayne Gallman reference.
let's
something
go
Wayne Gallman
the same
caliber.
team as. I can't say the guy's last name, but his first name I think is Dare. It's like Dare Bumble. Has an awesome name. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I just don't remember his name. Okay, maybe not the best example. His quarterback threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
Oh, Mike Evans.
Mike Evans,
Yeah.
a frequent list on the Pineapple Pepperoni of the week.
Yeah, he really was for
Back and
both.
forth.
Both
Finished
pineapple
12.
and pepperoni,
What, 199?
which is because he had those monster games, and then he had those games where he did horrible, and then he had multiple injuries.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt not having him on championship teams, but at the same time, you saved yourself the risk of him putting up a goose egg.
Him and Godwin, they weren't there championship weekend. It was Bashad Perriman.
Yeah, and
Good for that dude.
and
anyone who
in
played
one
him.
of the Super Bowls that I played, the other team picked up Perriman, and he had over 100 yards and did pretty solid. So
Awesome, dude. Props to anyone who picked up Perriman.
yeah, that's definitely a good pickup.
So we're going to move on to tight end, but just wanted to say thanks everyone for checking us out and hanging with us. This is just a lot of fun to be talking about this. Hopefully you're listening somewhere in your car, at home, whatever, just, jamming out and thinking about how crazy fantasy football is and just kind of going through this, just having all the answers in front of me and then having John guess. I know we've all kind of been there and just like what we think and how it really ended is very kind of shocking maybe, or just kind of like surprising, to be like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, and thanks for bearing with me. I feel like I'm doing a horrible job guessing.
No,
these
dude.
guys.
Honestly, dude, if we, if you had a list or whatever, so just not having a list and just rocking with it, man, you're doing awesome. So we're up to tight end. So let's do the top three.
Okay. Was Waller
He was 3. Good job.
3? Kittle,
Good job too.
Mark Andrews.
No, I wish.
No.
He was actually 4. So I'll give you a little.
Okay.
Number 1 is always, he's like probably the best tight end. I never draft him though because he's too pricey for you boy. He's on the Chefs.
Oh, Kelsey was still.
Kelsey, yep.
Kelsey was still number
yep,
one.
Number 1, 205 points.
Oh wow, I didn't. He seemed more quiet this year. I guess the Chiefs kind of felt more quiet in general, and so
Didn't they? Yeah.
so I'm surprised that he still finished number 1.
Still finished number 1, man.
I really would have thought Kittle or Andrews, or even Waller would have been higher than him.
Played all 16 games too.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. And then Mark Andrews, he was at 4, 175 points. Him and Darren Waller separated by less than 1 point.
Wow.
Just sort of fascinating there. And then let's 5, 6, and 7. 5 is on a commercial that's super annoying with his wife. They
Oh,
like
Zach
jogging.
Ertz.
Oh yeah, I hate that commercial.
We're such a
Dude,
cool,
when she
healthy couple.
when she pays for his shit at the Quick Shack, I want to vomit.
Oh,
God.
I stopped
I
walking.
wanna
I stopped
vomit.
watching at that point, so I don't know.
I would just be like, if I were the clerk, I'd be like, just take it and go, please. It's killing me.
I do like Zach Ertz. So.
Oh, dude.
But
for
yeah, I
one,
can do without
my
the
name is
commercial.
Zach, and he spells it with an H, so he knows
That's
how to
true.
spell
He
it.
spells it the right way.
So I'm not play hating like that. Good for him and his wife, but commercials are just the bane of my existence. So yeah, he finished at 5. Number 6. This was a guy I was dogging preseason, and then I came to my senses before the drafts were over, so I was able to pick him up in one league. He's on the Falcons. He's
Hooper.
Hooper, check that out.
He
Number
was
6.
a top tight end like a lot.
Yeah, he
throughout the
was.
season,
Dude, he was like the tight end 1 for like
Several weeks.
a shit ton of weeks. He played 13 games, so he missed a couple games there.
Yeah.
But finishing 6, I mean, he was targeted a whole lot, and I mean, early
He was
on
getting
too.
touchdowns. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
they weren't doing shit with the run game. So
Sometimes he was the only offense they had.
yeah, very true, man. Because I had Ridley and I had Julio Jones, so Hooper was definitely like, oh, look at this dude.
And going back to Zach Ertz, a random thing that makes me always think about Zach Ertz too. Like, I think like 3 years ago, maybe 4, kind of when Zach Ertz was first kind of becoming more noticed. He had an ad for a silicone wedding ring, and ever since then, I saw that ad. I've been just wearing those silicone rings.
Cool, man.
Sorry,
Let me see.
random note. I'm
Dude, what kind of
right
talk is that? You don't even have your ring on. You just practically gave that whatever a commercial.
People don't know that.
I guess so. You could have it. Could be a cock ring for all I know.
Yeah, I didn't say I wore it.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm not gonna investigate. So we can move on.
I keep it in my pocket.
Yeah. There you go, man. You went.
Whereas like one of those.
You worked out
necklaces.
today. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It adds up. It's the resolution is PG.
Yeah.
So 7, 8, 9. 7. I never draft this dude. Excuse me.
It's probably not Gronk.
It's not Gronk. I'll give you a hint. His name is food related. The guy who used to rep for Subway has his name. Some people go to him to get diamonds. And then
Jared something.
Jared something, yep. And then the last name is Cook. Jared Cook. Can you believe it, man? New Orleans finished number 7 overall tight end.
That is surprising.
Yeah, shit. Check him out. Yeah, but he played 14 games. You know, it's good and all, I guess. But,
Yeah.
I mean, here we are.
Still wouldn't feel
Yeah.
great about him, but
And then number 8 is a player that we've been boasting here for a while. And we have him in our Dynasty League. He's a tight
Higbee.
end. Higbee. Yeah, look
Tyler
at that.
Higbee,
Tyler
man.
Higbee. Check
Dude,
that out.
he was so awesome. The
14
last
games, 125
piece of the
points.
season.
Oh, dude.
Just the amount of targets and catches and yards, like he's awesome. I think how do you feel about him, going next year? I know it's early.
It'll be
but
interesting, man, to see how that offense kind of delegates the football with more of a healthy team. And I think they're moving a lot of pieces with their offense and defense of coordinators. But I like to see him finish 8th overall, get so many targets.
Yeah, I mean, I bet if we just did the rankings for the last half of the season, he'd be number 1 or
Oh,
close to it.
totally, dude. Yeah, check that stat out. Look for that shit. All right, number 9. We have another alliteration name. He's a white boy. He was injured, but then came back and represented someone that I definitely suggested adding on waivers and putting in your IR spot.
Hayden Hurst,
Not a bad guess.
alliteration.
Close, same letters for the alliteration.
Oh, same. Okay, man, I feel I should know this. Okay,
Played on a team with.
Hunter Henry.
Very good, man. Hunter Henry finished number 9 overall.
Yeah, he had some decent weeks. But with those injuries, man, like because I drafted him early and then he was out for a while. And
I
couldn't keep extra tight ends on there, and so I dropped him in one of my leagues and picked up someone else, and he ended up doing pretty well for whoever picked him up.
Just don't draft tight ends early. I mean, geez, fantasy football. If there's one thing that's like, consistent, just
It's tough, man. It's tough.
I almost did it too, dude. I was like, oh shit, look at how my team's like shaping up. 6th round, I'm like, Hunter Henry, let me think about it. And someone sniped him. I'm like, okay.
This was the first year I drafted tight ends early. Every year I would wait until close to the very end. But I went for Ertz. I got Kittle. I got Hunter Henry.
No, that's great, man.
But yeah, it's still tough. Then those are the better players. But then I had ones that bite me. It wasn't like super early, but like, everyone was high on. Who's that Steelers tight end?
Vance McDonald.
Who's
always fucking injured.
Who's always injured.
He threw some dude down in like one play like years ago on like Sunday Night Football, and people have a boner for that guy.
And he had, there's one game I think where he had like a couple touchdowns, but with Roethlisberger getting hurt, first, second game of the year, that whole offense was tough. So
Totally true, bro.
all right,
So, yeah.
sorry.
No, it's all good. We have Hunter Henry at number 9. So 10, 11, 12. So 10 is on the same team as the number 5 overall tight end. He came through for your boy in his Super Bowl game.
Who was the number 5 again?
Zach Ertz.
Oh, okay, Goddard, dude.
Dallas Goedert represent
Dude.
number 10. Can you believe that fucking shit, man?
Dude, he did so well, and I can't remember if it was the championship weekend or it was one of
Definitely
the last
championship
ones
weekend.
where Ertz got hurt and
I
did
think the weekend
nothing,
before too.
and Goddard just did awesome.
He was fucking awesome, dude.
Something with Philadelphia and their tight ends, man. Who was the tight end they had before that went to the Bears?
Oh, Trey Burton.
Trey Burton, yeah, because he did well when he was in Philly.
Yeah, he did.
I wonder who their tight end coach is.
For real, man. He's on it.
Cool.
Love him, man. I had him on a Super Bowl team, and I was very, very pleased because I see him to strike out with tight ends. I don't like go early at all, so getting guys like him and having them finish 10th overall coming through is pretty awesome. Same goes with 11 and 12. So 11, this will be harder to guess. So his team is they have probably the worst color scheme I would ever want to be a fan of in rock. Yeah, one of the worst, in my opinion. Ricky Williams was on this team.
Not the Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah, check it out. Mike Gesicki, yep. He finished
yeah.
number 11 with
Wow,
110 points.
I would
yeah.
not have guessed that.
He came through a lot at the end, man. I was happy to see that, man, because I'm pretty sure he was drafted pretty high, like when he was drafted, like I believe 2 years ago. Definitely touted as a more of a just a stronger tight end out of that tight end class. I think he was even drafted above Mark Andrews. I
Wow.
believe. Don't quote me on that. I know Hayden Hurst and then Mark Andrews was like second and third round, or first and third, or first, some shit like that. But yeah, so Mike Gesicki. Can you believe that shit?
No, that's like totally under the radar.
Tight end on
You
the
could
Dolphins.
have given me 20 guesses with a list of names. I'm not sure if I would have gotten Gesicki.
So 12 is a bald bastard who wasn't bald last year when he was on Monday Night Football, but all of a sudden is bald this year and shaved his head because he's smart, because he knows his bald head would be on TV and he didn't want to show his like balding head. But he came through for our team, man, for our dynasty team when we weren't playing Tyler Higbee or T.J. Hawkinson.
So, Jonnu Smith?
No, but not a bad guess.
Okay.
He's actually number 19, Johnny Smith.
Okay.
This guy is a bald bastard. He was on Monday Night Football last year.
Oh, Jason Witten?
Jason Witten, check that out, number
Wow.
12, yeah.
Wow.
Number 12.
Man, another one I would not have guessed.
Right? Fucking
know
came
we
through. Let's see his points. Motherfucker had 108 points. Mike Gesicki had 110. Goddard 115. So he was right there, man.
Wow, man. That's surprising. I know we had him on our dynasty team and we played him several weeks, but that felt more like just play the best player you got, not necessarily feeling great about playing Jason Witten.
100%, dude. 100%. All right, rapid fire, defense, special teams, go.
All right, New England,
Good,
Pittsburgh,
good.
Vikings,
No, they have a number in their name.
49ers,
Good job. Next one's a bird.
Seahawks,
No. Other bird.
Cardinals,
No.
Ravens.
Ravens. Other one is
So many birds.
the sign of the
Falcons.
Aries symbol.
The Aries symbol, Titans.
No. That'd be cool, though. Let me give you a better hint. They used to be in St. Louis.
They used to be in Cardinals.
Great history there, John, but no. They play in L.A.
Oh,
The Rams.
Rams. Okay.
Yeah, the Rams. Okay, so the next one wear purple, the next one wear green, and the next one wear red.
So Vikings,
Mhm.
Eagles,
How dare you?
Jets.
Jets. Here you go. Spit in my face. I'm just joking.
So you said purple.
Number 7,
green.
let me just say that. Number 7, 137 points. Pretty righteous. Pretty righteous. And then next are a team that has Patrick Mahomes.
The Vikings.
I don't know what makes purple and red, but I don't know what colors make red from purple, but the Chiefs.
Wow,
the
I'm
Chiefs.
surprised that they're
Right? Check them
top
out.
10.
Yeah.
Although they did start tidying up towards the latter half of the season.
That makes me happy for Dynasty because I have Jets and I have Chiefs as some of my on my fantasy, on my Dynasty teams that have defenses. All right, so the next 3, one of them is in a place that people will go drink and go to Mardi Gras. The other one has a fucking pirate ship that they shoot a cannon from.
All right,
And then-
New Orleans,
Okay,
Tampa
good.
Bay.
Good job. And then this next one is
I'm surprised Tampa Bay's there, but
right? Which I may say. Oh, hell yeah. Represent. Represent. That's some pizza right there. So, yeah, Tampa Bay, again, another team. I have 4 teams. I have 4 defenses on this one dynasty squad. A lot of players, like 40 players on this team or whatever.
I guess they gotta be motivated because they know Winston's gonna throw a pick six that
For
they're gonna
reals,
have to
right?
counter. Yeah.
And dude, they finished 134. Above them was 135, 36, 37.
Wow.
So they could easily finished 7th,
Wow,
where my Jets finished.
surprising.
Not crazy. The next one has the word tit in their team name.
Titans.
Titans. Yep. Tennessee came in at 11, dude. Next one is, this is pretty cool. Wow. Next 2 are both alliteration. One of them, I tell you what, one of them is in the playoffs still. One of them is not, but they both played this past weekend.
Okay.
Both alliteration.
Both alliterations.
One is snow, one is rain.
One is snow, one is rain. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's see. So, Seattle Seahawks.
Very good. They're the rain. They're the 13th team.
And then you said the snow was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Who played this weekend, but it's not playing this upcoming weekend.
Right. So it was Vikings and Saints. And it was the Patriots and Titans. It was Seahawks and Eagles. And it was.
Way to wait for the end. Damn, dude. Your brain really went through all of them.
Man, I watched all the games this weekend. I should remember them.
If you were alive in the 90s, they won a lot of AFC championships.
I was alive, but I was not watching football in the 90s.
It's fair. Their quarterback finished number 6 overall. They have a great defense. They have... they're in our division with the Jets.
Oh, Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills, check that out.
Yeah.
Number 12, represent. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Oh, I don't know why I did 13. We just top 12. I was just so pumped on it being alliteration. All right, so kicker, we're not going to even insult you, so I'll just have you pick the top 3. Guess the top 3 kickers.
I mean, Justin Tucker.
Yep, 3.
Chris Boswell was pretty high.
Don't even be a homer with that. Move on.
His field goal percentage was pretty high this year, in the 90s, 90-something percent. Man, I don't know. Suck up.
No, it's Harrison Buck kicker as number 1.
Okay, that makes
and
sense.
then
with
Will
their high
Lutz.
scoring.
Spells his name with 1 L.
Yeah. Lutz had a solid season.
And then below that, I just want to represent Matt Gay, Zane Gonzalez, Josh Lambo.
I'm surprised Lambo was that high.
Kind of cool. I'm happy to see that. I had him and Zane Gonzalez if you were on that. So that pretty cool, man. And it just finishes off with Matt Prater, Dan Bailey, and who cares? But yeah, those kickers can come through. I mean, look at his 166 points, 163 points. I mean, fucking A, man. That's a lot.
Next year, Yongi Koo. He's going to be number 1, man.
Dude, totally. Youngie. Oh, yeah. That's actually a real person.
Yeah.
All right. Props to him. Yeah, he was doing good with Atlanta.
Yeah, he did well.
All right, so we're just going to do a little quick thing of some overall and just ask John some questions here. All right, so did Mark Ingram finish higher than the Patriots or lower? Higher meaning like the
More
lower
points.
number. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
I would guess lower.
You would be right. He
Okay.
finished 32nd, Patriots. I won't tell you yet. All right.
Okay.
What about who finished DeAndre Hopkins or the Patriots defense?
Ooh. I think I'm still going to say Patriots.
Very good. Okay, how about Derek Carr, the Patriots defense?
Man, a quarterback. He had a pretty tough year. I'm going to say Patriots.
You'd be incorrect, but it's very close.
Okay.
It's like 4 spots.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Let's go Baker Mayfield or the Patriots defense.
Well, if I feel like Baker probably had more fantasy points than Carr, so I'm going to go with Baker.
Good guess. All right, I'll give you 2 more. Alvin Kamara or Patriots.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Another good one?
I'm going to go Patriots.
Good job, dude.
All right.
All right, and the last one, let's go Mike Evans or Patriots.
Man, he had such big weeks, but he was injured, and then he had some goose eggs. I'm gonna say Evans.
You'd be wrong.
Oh, Patriots. Okay.
By like a lot, too. He finished 55th overall.
Oh wow.
Patriots
Okay.
finished like 28th.
Okay.
28th, dude. 20
Wow,
motherfucking
dude.
eighth. Just goes to show if you hit on defense. Good for you. That was a lot of fun, man. You did great, dude.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, props to that. I don't honestly, dude, especially where I'm at tonight, like with my brain smoking a little weed, I don't think I would have been able to hit with any of these.
Man, well, what's my excuse then? Because
I
I've
don't know,
never
man.
smoked
Well,
or drank anything
you have
in my life.
You have a kid. You've procreated.
I can't even blame her. I think it's just me. But either way, I appreciate you taking the time to prep that and quiz me. It was fun.
Hell yeah, dude. That was awesome. So we're going to move on to our recap of 2019. We're going to make this super short. We're just going to talk about how we won in our dynasty team, in our dynasty league. So John and I participated in a dynasty team. It was I believe we did a starter draft and then a rookie draft separate.
Yeah, which I really enjoyed. So this is my first time playing Dynasty. It was kind of I don't know if we actually talked about this, but I told Zach. Zach asked me if I wanted to be either be in the league as a team owner or be a co-owner with him in the Dynasty League. I've never done Dynasty before. I found it intimidating, but I told him, I said, okay, I will do the Dynasty League with you if you agree to do this podcast. So in a way, the
Good
Dynasty
call.
is kind of part of the reason that we're here talking to you.
Wow, man, I didn't even think of that. And dude, because I've asked you like consecutive years if you wanted to be in.
And I always said no.
Yeah, you always said no, and I'm like, damn, man, because the level of competition that you bring, I'm like, I want, all leagues to be competitive, but especially Dynasty. I want people to have fun with it because it's such a fun format. So, dude, so glad that you joined me, man. I was really excited when we did our draft. It was a slow draft, so you had like 8 hours per pick. So it allowed John and I, while we were at work, to communicate and be like, okay, what do you think about our next pick? And, honestly, for especially like the first maybe like 15 rounds, I forget how many rounds it was. It was a shit ton, though, that's for sure. Maybe 40 or 35 or some shit. I like all my Dynasty leagues to be huge.
Yeah, and just going out throughout the day. You put a hell of a league together, man. Like the level of engagement that those guys have and interest, and he's got literally people across the world in different countries participating in this and very active and engaged in terms of trades and interest and talk. I'd say it's one of, if not the most like engaging leagues that I've been a part of.
Yeah, and honestly, props to the Sleeper app and being able to have that group chat, keeping people, engaged. And one thing I really like about Dynasty is the level of commitment. So people are really invested because they're picking these guys for a lifetime or, however long they're going to stay involved. So there's definitely a lot more commitment and a lot more you have to make the best decision possible because you can definitely set yourself up. You can set yourself up to have a good season and a good strategy in your dynasty team if you do it right. Have a good balance. And dude, that was one of the things I love the most. I love being able to kind of talk players with you and say, well, hey, for this next pick, I'm liking this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's why. Or I'm liking these 3 guys. What do you think? Here's the order I'd pick them in. And just that we were able to go back and forth and come to a conclusion. It was really fun, man.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that because typically, like when we've been together in terms of multiple leagues for multiple years at this point, and we tend to have pretty different styles in terms of players we like and players that we don't. And so the fact that we were able to collaborate on a team together and have good discussions and come to conclusions that we were pretty happy with. There was no friction or like, oh, you picked that crappy player type thing, feeling. I think it was such a late pick, it didn't matter to me. I think the only one that I kind of laughed at was you were like super high on Teddy Bridgewater, which he turned out to be better. And we'll see what happens with him in the future. If some other team wants him as a starter or if he wants to continue to be the backup in New Orleans and with Drew Brees getting older, but then they got that Hill quarterback too, who
totally Taysom Hill.
Don't
we own him too?
We do.
Okay.
So, I was more excited about that one.
Yeah, he's definitely a gadget player, kind of all over the field, and it's not a super flex league, so it's not 2 quarterbacks, but it was such a large roster, and then getting that quarterback depth. was important because I didn't have it in one league until I made a trade. So to avoid that, I'm like, all right, note to self, get some depth. Doesn't have to be anything too sexy, if you know what I mean.
But yeah, we collaborated well, and then just setting the lineups every week and discussing certain players. And sometimes I'd make suggestions. I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead and swap that player out." And I distracted us from what you were talking about earlier, which I don't want to lose sight of, which is we had separate drafts for rookies versus existing players, which I really enjoyed because for me, I don't watch any college football. And so knowing the rookies and where they stand is tough when I'm trying to integrate that into existing players in terms of draft rankings and what makes most sense. So having a existing player draft felt more comfortable for someone who was playing Dynasty for the first time to be able to do that piece as a normal draft. And then having the rookie draft was more enjoyable too, in terms of it being a smaller subset of players, and you could focus more in on those players and understand where they are relative to other rookies as opposed to existing players. So I really appreciated that you set it up that way.
Cool, yeah, dude. Honestly, I've done both, where I've had the rookies integrated in one draft, and then I've done it separate, like we did it in this league. And I honestly prefer it separate. It's just I love drafting, man.
Yeah, it's a second draft too.
It's a second draft, so 2 versus 1 right there. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then yeah, I do like something about honing in on just the college players. It's so fucking fun, man. So fun. And there's a small part of me that likes to see how versed others are within some of these players, you know. Which, you know, you could do in either style of draft, but I like them separate. All the ones that I've done that were separate, I've liked them over the ones that were integrated in. And yeah, it's again, it's just with those 2 drafts, and I'm pseudo college. You know, I will definitely hone in on the players once they, you know, once the draft is starting, and you know, and even a little bit beforehand to kind of get some of the players, you know, names familiar. And I've had success the past 2 years just doing it like that. You know, no disrespect to college. It's just I have a certain process, and you know, I enjoy it, number one, and it's been working. So really happy to hear that feedback. And with this league, shout out to everyone in this league, especially the homie that we played against in the Super Bowl. He is the good homie from Switzerland. I always forget his name. I suck at names, but he's an awesome guy. He was so engaging, a great competitor. We played him maybe like 3 weeks ago, or I should say 3 weeks before the final game, and he easily, well, I don't say easily beat us, but he definitely won that game. So when we were facing up against him, I was like, "Fuck, man, we definitely have the best player that we're in my opinion that we're facing against." And this was a very competitive league. A lot of fun, man.
Close championship. He had Christian McCaffrey.
It was close.
And,
yeah. It was honestly, as far as the ones I participated in, I had 2 pretty darn close ones. The rest were luckily in my favor pretty significantly, but this one was definitely one of the closer ones. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a shitty Monday night game.
Yep, that helped us.
It helped us a lot, and you know, I mean, luck and fantasy football go hand in hand. So we were very fortunate.
And we had DK Metcalf, also known as Decaf.
Yeah, 0 points.
He put up 0 points. Who looked amazing this past weekend.
Yeah, which I loved.
It was awesome. It was great to see.
I loved. What's great
because we got Dynasty.
Oh,
so
dude, totally. I have a fucking boner for all these players that like, you know, watching them in the playoffs, and like that's the best about Dynasty is you're so invested and committed to these players. So when you're just seeing them ball out and just seeing how, you know, how good of a season homie had, you know, for his rookie season. Overall, there was some ups and downs, obviously, with that 0 burger. But yeah, having guys like Kenyon Drake, Tyler Higbee, definitely, you know,
Decaf Metcalf, shirtless pitcher.
Yeah,
comparing it to when he was a kid wearing a Superman shirt.
Yeah, he wasn't definitely the shirtless picture in the Super Bowl game. You know, he was like the guy who like goes swimming with the shirt on.
Yeah, he was like Andy Dalton on the bench. Might as well have been 0 points.
But no, I just want to say props to everyone in all my dynasty leagues and all my redraft leagues. It was a great season. I'm so happy that everyone participated. I look forward to this season already. You know, with everything unfolding over the next couple of months with free agency and all that good shit. So yeah, just a quick recap. I know, John, just to kind of go over, you won in one of our home leagues that we've had for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I was in 3 Super Bowls, one our dynasty,
Fuck
which we
yeah.
won.
Hell yeah.
Another one that I had won, and then another one that I had lost on a very late 55-yard running touchdown from Aaron Jones.
Fucking A,
and
man.
I lost by a couple points, and that would have been the difference in that one. But otherwise, and also too, Russell Wilson had a pretty weak championship weekend play.
Yeah.
And I thought about playing Ryan Fitzpatrick over him, but it was just too hard to do, right?
Did they like play the Patriots, or was the game before? Or maybe they played the Jets or some shit.
I think they played the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, okay.
If I'm remembering correct. I'm going off of memory here, but I believe it was the Cardinals, and he projected to do pretty well, but did not, and those few points were the difference. But I can't complain about 2 championships.
Dude,
and
you made 3 Super
and 1
Bowls.
second place. So
Hell
pretty
yeah,
happy
man.
about that.
Dude, just making the Super Bowl is so fucking tough. I mean, seriously, we don't play in any bullshit leagues.
Yeah,
Like, there's no bullshit. There's no one fucking phoning it in. There's no one doing any shady shit. Everyone's playing, and they're paying, and they're competing, and it's so fun. And, dude, I'm so happy to see that, like, that you made it to 3. You won those 2. You and I won that dynasty one. Especially, we sold almost all of our picks. Our next pick is 2021 second round. So we sold out. We definitely did the strategy of just trying to, like,
it paid off, man.
It really
And we got
motherfucking did.
Metcalf, we got Kenyon Drake.
Honestly, dude,
we got Higbee.
that is the league I am most excited about winning, because of just how we had that strategy, and we sold out all these picks to get players, and
We got Tom Brady.
we did have Tom Brady. Yeah, we sure did, man. But yeah, dude, that is excellent. I was fortunate to make 5 Super Bowls, and I won all fucking 5, man.
Dude, that's so cool, man.
I couldn't
5
believe it.
Super Bowls? That's amazing.
Can you believe that? I played in 11 leagues, and I won 5 Super Bowls. So, and I made 8 playoffs. So I made 8, and then I lost, and then it was down to 5. And honestly, man, like, props to all the people I competed against. They had a great seasons. It was a lot of fun. Some of them were closer than others, but it doesn't at all reflect how well my opponent did all year. Shout out to my homie Dalton from your fantasy. He's on Instagram. Awesome player. Knows his shit. Great guy. Lots of fun playing in all these leagues. And again, man, just very, very fortunate. A lot of the consistency with my leagues. I had Lamar Jackson, I think, on 3 teams. I think
Awesome.
1, 2, 3 teams. Guys like Michael Thomas, Chris Carson, guys like Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
Eckler, these are,
we had him in our dynasty. It
Yeah.
was huge.
Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake,
Came
Adrian
through.
Peterson was
Adrian
stronger
Peterson.
than you expected.
Guys like Dwayne Washington for the fucking Raiders came through with 17 points. I mean, those are the plays that I love. I mean, if you look at, like, playing some of these guys like Rashad Perriman, Dallas Goedert, Dwayne Washington, last for the fantasy Super Bowl. I mean, it's just almost comedy when you think about the start of the season to the end of the season on who you're playing, and who's in your or on your championship squads.
Yeah. And if you did not do well this season, keep your head up, man. We've been there, and as much success as we had this season, I had one of the worst teams, and it wasn't. I still stand by, like, the picks that I made, but just the worst luck and worst combination of things. One team I literally, like, drafted Juju Smith-Schuster first, and obviously Roethlisberger got hurt early on, and Juju was hurt a lot of it. And then I think I did Odell Beckham, and then Antonio Brown, and, like, all those guys either underperformed or didn't play, and then that was the same team I also, like, drafted Vance McDonald relatively early, so, like, my entire starting lineup there, and I had Roethlisberger as the quarterback, which I drafted somewhat.
Those Steelers,
early.
bro, break your heart, man.
But yeah, between Juju and Odell Beckham and Antonio Brown, and it was and I still, even though I did not make the playoffs with that team, I still fought on, and I could pull up my final roster if we needed to, but that particular league had a consolation bracket, which I was able to play through the final 3 weeks just like the normal playoffs and win it.
Hell yeah, dude.
And in the final, and in championship week, despite having that crappy team, I was the highest scorer of the entire league for that week by like
Awesome.
20 or 30 points. So even though that it doesn't matter from a perspective of I wasn't in the Super Bowl, it just goes to show that even if you draft horribly or you have a lot of bad luck, you know, a lot of those players could be amazing next year. I could draft the exact same team and they could be killer. But just keep your head up if you had a bad season or tough breaks. It is part of the game, and we are in multiple leagues, and so we have that opportunity to where, you know, some people are locked into one or two leagues and just are stuck with what they get, but it gets better.
Hell yeah, man. Way to, you know, bring it back around because, you know, it's nice to win, but there's definitely those leagues where you didn't compete at all, or I should say you didn't make playoffs maybe, or, you know, you didn't do as well as your roster may have looked week one, but love the positivity. So we have our final segment here, or I should say our final fantasy segment. We'll talk a little pizza, and we'll talk some music here at the end. So we have our season awards. At the beginning of the season, we did pick who would have the most passing yards, who would have the most rushing, and then the receiving yards. So it would behoove me to pull up the those stats right now. But to go over, John had for most receiving Ben Roethlisberger, and I had Matt Ryan.
Most passing.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
Receiving would be insane.
Unless it was, you know, Josh Allen catching a touchdown pass.
Josh Allen going for long. Yeah, so
So mine was kind of a mute thing. Obviously, Roethlisberger got hurt in second game of the year, so didn't really get to see how that would pan out. Roethlisberger had led the NFL in passing yards the previous season, which was the main reason why I had chosen that. I also felt like he had something to prove with Antonio Brown leaving the team. Where did Matt Ryan? We had talked about Matt Ryan was number 9, somewhere around there.
he for passing yards actually finished.
Oh yeah, that was fantasy points, which is different than passing yards. He was hurt for a couple games at least this year, so we'll see where he ended up.
He finished 5th.
Wow. So being able to be top 5 while missing some games and having an underperforming team is still pretty good, man.
Hell yeah, dude. He played, 15 games. So
Did Dak Prescott finish number 1?
he finished number 2, bro.
Oh, okay, because I know he was leading pretty late in the season. Who did finish number 1?
Jameis Winston.
Oh, did he really?
He did, man. Fucking 5,100 yards.
30 for 30.
30 for 30.
5,100? Okay.
5,100, yep. Dak had 4,900. And then
Okay, so he's the only one that broke 5,000.
Yeah, Jared Goff.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Just insane. But yeah,
Wait, you said Jared Goff?
Jared Goff finished 3rd overall with passing
Really?
yards. Yeah, it's a crazy world.
Man, that's crazy because
It's a mad world.
I think one of the weeks he was definitely my pineapple because he got me like.
Yeah.
Did he give me negative points?
Probably. He sucked a cock, I know.
Either
one of
2
those
points
weeks.
or negative 2 points is something that's coming to memory, but he had some huge games, right? In terms of passing yardage.
Passing yardage,
fantasy,
yeah.
But not reliable enough for me to keep him. I dropped him and played a quarterback carousel.
Yeah, so pretty interesting, man. I mean,
Wow,
Jameis
Winston.
Winston. Yeah. Fucking nuts, man.
That is crazy.
Who would have thunk it? And then for rushing yards, I had Zeke. You had Saquon.
And I think we talked about it earlier. Derrick Henry ended up winning that, right?
Derrick Henry, yep, definitely. He on that like one of the last plays of that game.
Man, props to Mike Vrabel. That dude should be considered maybe coach of the year. I know everyone's talking up John Harbaugh because the Ravens have done so well, but dude, taking freaking Mariota or benching Mariota and getting Tannehill, who's underperformed his entire career, who's literally only good enough to be the backup to Mariota, and Derrick Henry, who has not been super impressive, at least nowhere near what he's looking like now. And then I know it was a rookie, but A.J. Brown, and just putting that team together, it's pretty impressive, man.
It really is, man. Props to that team. I'm happy to see them do so well, especially with Ryan Tannehill. He was on a bunch of my Super Bowl teams, so.
So props to the Titans and Derrick Henry for leading and rushing. Neither of us predicted him. Where did Zeke finish up? Do you know?
Let me find that out for you. Forgive me for being a little slow to the draw on this.
Oh, no worries. I'm just asking you random questions that were not part of this.
Let's smell that. Just doing some clicking, doing some loading, doing some 5Ging. All right, we're looking here. All right, so let's see. I'm waiting for this motherfucker. Forgive me for not having this link rat to go. All right, let's check that motherfucker out. Okay.
We talked about Christian McCaffrey or
Yeah,
Chubb or.
I'm a little bit out of my head. My bad.
That's all good, dude.
At receiving, I was like, wait a minute. So Derrick Henry finished first at 1,539 yards, and then Zeke finished fourth. And then you had Saquon. We have him at 15th.
Yeah,
So,
I mean I think he went several weeks without breaking 100 yards, and then again was hurt for multiple games. So that's not super surprising.
yeah, yardage: Henry, Chubb, McCaffrey, Zeke, Chris Carson. Oh man, excuse me, that won't spell. All right, then we have wide receivers. I had Julio. You had Juju.
Yeah, our matching number one receivers to our quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Again, Roethlisberger was not there, and Juju was hurt a lot of the season, so I'm sure he finished very low. But you said Julio was number 3 in fantasy points. Where was he in yards?
In yards, let's see here. Once it loads. Jeez. What a shit show sometimes. You know, you're clicking shit and it's just not clicking and you're like waiting. Farting.
Farting all kinds.
All right, so let's see here. Let me go. Jeez. Receiving. Yards. Boy, sorry, these tools suck cock. Everything I'm clicking. Position, come on now, what the fuck? All right, forgive me. So the yards, we have good old Michael Thomas. Julio finished second, 1,300 yards. And then you had Juju. Let's see where he finished. Just for some. 61st. So, you know, hey, happens. But yeah, Michael Thomas, Julio, Chris Godwin, Devontae Parker, Keenan Allen, Kenny Galladay.
Devontae Parker, man. Breaking the top 5.
He's in
That's
those
crazy.
Lists. He's in those motherfucking lists.
He was one of those guys that I was an early believer of him, but he just never seemed to put it together, so I'd given up on him. But, I mean, man, I don't even... How do you draft him next year?
Agreed, yeah.
It's going to be tough because it's hard to argue with the numbers and the momentum's there.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm...
If Fitzpatrick's not the quarterback, I think I might be out.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go target him. I'd have to see.
Pretty sad. Josh Rosen couldn't even beat out Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Josh Rosen. Good luck
Poor
to him.
dude.
XFL stats.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah. Me too.
You feel like he got a bum opportunity, but it happens.
All right, so now we're going to go through our all pepperoni, all pineapple, all sleeper teams. Pepperoni obviously is all the positive, great players of the season. Best players, pineapple too. And then the sleeper, obviously the ones that were like, oh, damn, these motherfuckers are good. And we have a Super Bowl MVP that we're going to go over.
And just clarify, pineapple is the worst players.
Yeah, horrible pineapple
Big
pizza.
Disappointments. Players that are supposed to do well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll do the all pepperoni list here. We have Lamar Jackson at quarterback. Christian
Hard to
McCaffrey.
argue with that one.
Yep. Christian McCaffrey at running back. Michael Thomas, wide receiver. We went Mark Andrews with tight end.
Yeah.
He did great, man. Loved him this year.
Man, and just in terms of, getting him at such a pretty low draft pick and him just performing so well.
Totally, dude. Yeah. I think he was even undrafted in some leagues, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Believe it or not. And then Pat's D, represent. It's probably kind of an easy one. John, you want to go over the all pineapple team?
Yeah, let's go over the all pineapple team. These are big disappointments. Fell just short of making the Super Bowl like a lot of people predicted, but Baker Mayfield, Cleveland quarterback, the Browns, did not do very well. I had one friend who had drafted him pretty early and was pretty pumped. He's like, what do you think? And again, I'm biased. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm like, dude, I don't feel good about drafting a Browns quarterback. that early,
Yeah.
especially when he's unproven. I know he had, had some success last year, but definitely had the sophomore slump and underperformed and was on the waivers, I'd say, by midseason for a lot of leagues and definitely by the end. So pretty disappointing play for that quarterback. Running back David Johnson. Dude, I was a big David Johnson fan when was tearing it up was it his second year or first year or second year?
Second year or third year. I can't remember. One of the two.
And then he got hurt early the next season, and so you were thinking that he'd kind of come back and be in that role. And I guess last season, too, I think a lot of people were still hopeful for him because even though he didn't have as impressive of a year, he still finished in the top 10 in terms of points. And with the new quarterback of Kyler Murray and new coaching, they were hoping that they could kind of step up the offense and do a lot better, but he just took a big turn. I think there was some injury as well, but it really seems like Kenyon Drake is the number one guy. At least that's how they were playing it, and he was having monster games, and David Johnson was a ghost.
He was, yep.
So he's a big disappointment. First round pick for probably most.
Yeah, I had him in one league.
leagues.
I think I got like 7th, 8th overall or something.
If not definitely gone by the second round. And so big disappointment there. It'll be interesting. I don't think I'm going to touch him next year unless it's like the 10th round or something.
We'll see how things shape up.
Wide receiver Sammy Watkins. I'd say a big disappointment, especially from, you expected Tyreek Hill to be gone and him to step into that role, and then Watkins had that killer first week. Just had an amazing performance. You're like, man, this guy going forward. I was never a Sammy Watkins believer, but after that first week, I was like, man, this guy looks good. Tyreek Hill's out.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Patrick Mahomes, this high-powered offense. They got a great run game. But he just, did almost nothing after then.
Yeah, he's
not reliable, not someone you want to play. He had, a few moments here and there, but went back to the guy that I kind of always knew. I was never, like I said early on, never a fan of his, but big disappointment there.
Yeah.
O.J. Howard, Tampa Bay tight end. A lot of people were really high on him this year, and he was being drafted pretty high. That maybe you can provide a little bit more insight into that, Zach, because I saw that happening. I saw a lot of people's rankings. I saw where he was going in his average position in the drafts, but I was just not sold on him, especially when the previous years when we had so much back and forth between Brait and O.J. Howard, and one of them doing well, both of them doing well, neither of them doing well, that I did not feel comfortable drafting him at all. Do you know why people were so high on him, and even with Brait still there?
He seemed to have a connection with Jameis Winston the season prior.
Or?
Yeah, emotionally.
Or just physically?
No. I think there were a couple games where they were touting this as a breakout year for him, and he was getting more of the looks in the red zone over Cameron Brait.
Was that happening more late into the season the previous year, or because
I believe so? Yeah,
just in my mind, I just remember a lot of back and forth with him and Brait.
Yeah, he was drafted as a top 6 tight end, and then was on waivers by I don't know week 8 maybe or some shit. He definitely was a pineapple of the season as far as tight end is concerned and where he was drafted. But yeah, that's you would think that there's so many weapons there, and they were saying something about Bruce Arians not really favoring the tight end, and he was rumored to be traded. O.J. Howard. So I think some of it is maybe the scheme because he's a talented wide receiver. Talented tight end, but.
And the fact that Winston led the league in passing and he still underperformed.
Still underperformed, yeah. I mean, he did support, good old Godwin and then Mike Evans. But, yeah, Howard definitely just, let a lot of people down this year.
Yeah. And then rounding out our pineapple team is the defense of the Bears, Chicago, where they make pizza.
Yeah. And pretty darn good pizza. But, the Bears, they just sucked. I would never I think someone picked them in one league. I was in, maybe the 7th round or some crazy shit. And I'm like, hey, all you.
They're pretty, I'm trying to remember, were they pretty much consensus number 1 in pre-draft?
I think they were. They were right up there, yeah. because of like Khalil Mack and the season they had prior.
Yeah, they had a great season before, but just I didn't watch a ton of Bears games, so I don't feel good about saying why that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
But their offense struggled. Their offense has always struggled, but I mean, other than Allen Robinson, they weren't getting much help from the other side of the ball, and so I'm not sure how much of it was bad defensive play versus the offense just keep giving the ball back to the other team.
That team was a big disappointment, minus Allen Robinson and homie Anthony Miller. Turn
Towards
some
the
games.
end.
Yeah, towards the end.
And even then, I didn't feel great about playing.
Yeah, me either. I don't think I started him once where he paid off.
Tyree Cohen, running back for the Bears, I think wins my award of player that I drafted and I never dropped, but also never played. He just sat on my bench the entire season on one team because he would get 9-ish points a game, and so it's not the worst kind of player to have on your bench if you ever need him. But I never played him, but I never dropped him either.
Yeah, dude, that backfield was shit this year. Good luck predicting when David Montgomery was going to pop off.
Yeah, it was random, and but it was a disappointment because I was excited for Montgomery, but
Me too.
And I still think that he's talented and
Yeah,
has
for
possibility
sure.
for the future, but
Yeah, they were abysmal.
cool. Well, that was good talking about offensive players for the Bears defense.
Yeah. Pardon me. It just goes to show how underwhelming that Bears team was this year. So I'm a little tired, so this is perfect. We're gonna go over the first team all sleeper. We have quarterback Ryan Tannehill. No one drafted him at all. I mean, he wasn't even a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. So, and I'm so happy to see him do so well. Honestly, I am. I'm happy when guys get that opportunity to represent and do their thing.
And in the playoffs, I think he only had like 72 yards passing against the Patriots, but that was after fantasy, so it doesn't matter. And he was just so solid. I think you and I had played against each other in the playoffs, and you had him, and he did very well against me.
He was great, man. I think next to Lamar Jackson, he was like number 2 in points.
That's crazy.
In like the last couple of weeks of the season. And then running back, we have Raheem Mostert for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, as far as Kevin Coleman and Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert was third on the list.
I had Mostert in multiple leagues, but he had died off mid-season or whatever, and so I had to drop him, especially once Coleman and Breida were healthy. I was like, man, it's tough to carry the third running back at best for the 49ers, but man, towards the end of the season when he was
came
in
through.
there, he was awesome.
Yeah, I only had him in one dynasty league, but he definitely came through. I was happy to see him.
I expected that from Breida this year, but he had
Me too,
injuries
man.
again.
Me too.
I did not feel good about Coleman.
Coleman's always going to be Coleman. He's always sort of in a good position, but never really seems to sort of deliver that, that running back one, even RB2 consistency.
Well, yeah, especially last year is kind of when I gave up on Coleman when I drafted him expecting Devontae Freeman to get hurt because it seems like Freeman gets hurt a lot. And
Totally.
He had the number one position, and his numbers were almost the same as if when Freeman was there. And so I was like, these other running backs in San Francisco between Breida, I didn't know Mostert at the time, but I was like, Breida is just going to do awesome. And I think some of my drafts were, I can't remember if it was before. No, I think most drafts happened after McKinnon got hurt again. Because there's still a possibility that McKinnon was going to be the number one. I think actually after he got hurt is when they traded and got Coleman.
Yeah.
But in any case, Breida last year I think was pretty high up on the list in terms of average yards per carry, and so I really expected him to step up. But again, with the injury and Mostert playing awesome, he was a great sleeper pick, and people that had him, especially towards the end of the year, was awesome.
Yeah, props to anyone who was playing him towards the end of the season and when he was doing his thing with like multiple touchdowns and all that usage. So at wide receiver, we have Devontae Parker for Miami.
We talked about him before. He
finished top 10. Can't be denied.
Top in fantasy points and in yards, and probably went undrafted in some leagues, or if not super late. I had him. Actually, I'm pretty sure I picked him off of waivers in a couple of leagues and ended up playing him towards the end. So it was awesome.
Yeah, dude. I like seeing his name. Good for him for actually coming through. And then at tight end, we have Darren Waller from Oakland. Great.
Another team that just seems to do well with whatever person's playing tight end there.
Yeah, they had Jared Cook a couple years back.
He did awesome. And
yeah.
Waller,
yeah. Happy to see him, especially with his story dealing with addiction and shit. That he's he had such a good season.
And very consistent. You felt
Very,
good.
yeah.
Felt good playing him.
And then here to round it off is the good old New York Jets defense. They finished 7th overall. Even in weeks when they played good teams like the Patriots, they still had some huge numbers. It's a defense, so I mean, come on, you're not going to play them in those weeks, but still, it's definitely one of those teams that I think a lot of people overlook when it comes to defense.
And once C.J. Mosley got hurt early on in the season and was out for the rest of the season, the fact that they still performed really well is a testament to that defense.
Yeah, I was happy to see that. And then you want to tell us who we decided for the Super Bowl MVP?
A person that is close to our heart for multiple reasons. He wasn't our dynasty, but even before that, we were big fans of his on his previous team, and always thought that he was underutilized, I guess you could say, on his teams. That is Kenyon Drake. Ended up finishing with the Arizona Cardinals, was with my Miami Dolphins, and they were definitely hurting for a running back after he had left there. Laird could not do much.
Get out of here.
After he left, but he just tore it up, had some amazing games with Arizona. In one week towards the end, he had that 4-touchdown game, and he seems like he's going to be the number one. And the fact that the Cardinals traded and got him, despite having David Johnson and Edmonds, who had some big weeks as well. Props to the Cardinals for recognizing his talent and giving him an opportunity and seeing him succeed. And I'm excited to see his career going forward, man.
Me too, dude. I was really happy to see him do so well when he got into a new situation. I was sort of surprised that he went over to Arizona, but he did great, man. He had a great playoff run into the Super Bowl.
And he really elevated that whole team too, dude.
He did.
Even though the Cardinals didn't have the greatest record, they were competitive in a lot of games. And if I was a Cardinals fan, I'd be hopeful for the future.
Me too, yeah. I think he's an unrestricted free agent, but he'll likely get signed by them.
Yeah,
if they're smart.
Cool, man. Well, let's go into our pizza review.
So, John, which pizza did we review tonight?
We reviewed a frozen pizza called Jack's, and this was recommended by a good friend of Zach's, a friend of mine.
Friend of ours.
Both of ours.
Yeah.
But you guys are closer, so I don't want
to
We've take friend credit. He's the friend that I'm only friends with because of Zach. So we all have those kinds of relationships. But
yeah.
I enjoy seeing him at fantasy drafts. We've been in the league with Zach for multiple years at this point. But anyway, he had recommended this. I feel like you should talk about this because he's the one who recommended it to you, and I'm talking about it like I had anything to do with it.
Yeah, so the pizza is named Jack's Pizza. He was all about it because he would get it and he would he'd make it in this pizza oven and just say how delicious it was. And John and I a couple weeks ago had it on the grill and it was so amazing. We actually burnt it to a crisp, but even though it was burnt to a crisp, it was so fucking tasty. You couldn't deny that sauce. So we decided to review this pizza as our final one for the season.
Yeah, so Zach had brought it by one day, and I noticed the sticker on the front said "Great for grilling," and I was like, "Whoa, frozen pizza on the grill!" This was the first year of my life I ever grilled. I didn't even own a grill before this year, or 2019, I should say. And so we tried it, burnt the first time, but then have had multiple pizzas since then. Gotten a much better cook out of it.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
It's super thin pizza, which is I think the key to why it works well on the grill. You don't have to have it penetrate a very thick crust where it could possibly be cold in the middle. But yeah, man, what do you think of this Jack's Pizza?
Oh, I thought it was excellent, man. Toppings were pepperoni, extra sauce. It wasn't really extra, but it was a great ratio. Mm-hmm. We had it, I'd say, well done-ish. It was brown. Mm-hmm. Toppings, it tasted amazing. Definitely not overwhelming. Didn't it wasn't. It didn't take away from all the amazing ratio of flavors with the cheese. Cheese again was excellent on there. I mean, even for this kind of pizza, it's such a I don't call it low quality, but it definitely is a cheaper pizza.
Yeah,
it's
$2.50.
Yeah, you can get 3 for $10 or some shit. But I thought everything from the sauce was delicious. The crust was crispy. It was like a pro move to use it on the grill. If you have options to grill this fucker, go for it. It definitely makes a difference, and it's kind of cool. You can grill a pizza. Definitely brings out the flavor. It's a uniquely familiar flavor and just fucking delicious with the crust, sauce. And again, that it has that tombstone style. The price kind of threw me off, but the flavor and the consistency just prevailed in this pizza, man. I'm like still surprised, which is awesome because doing this podcast, I've been able to try pizzas that for one I would never try. I'm just old school. I'm just kind of I keep to a certain thing. I don't like to deviate. I like consistency with my pizza, but this has kind of got me to branch out. I thought it was amazing, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd say it's the thinnest and crispiest pizza maybe I've ever that I've ever had, and it's consistently that way, especially on the grill. But it's awesome. And you're not even a big fan of thin crust.
No, I like that bread. Give me that motherfucking
but
like a loaf of bread at the end of the slice.
It's enough to make you a fan.
Hell yeah, dude. Represent with that. So for our player comparison, we decided to go with Tyler Higbee because a friend of mine who suggested this is named Tyler as well. So there's a Tyler connection.
And we love Tyler Higbee.
And we do because he came through for us at the end of the season in our Dynasty League.
Tons of targets, tons of catches.
Yeah, he was, I guess you could say underestimated, and that's how we felt about this pizza. Definitely one that you're not like, oh man, you got to have a Jack's. Usually people talk DiGiorno or like the Red Baron or whatever the fuck when it comes to frozen pizza, but this Jack's pizza was definitely a pleasant surprise. So was having Tyler Higbee. We sold our first round pick for 2020 for T.J. Hawkinson, and he didn't really do so well, but it's all good because we still won. Yeah, we still won Super Bowl thanks to Tyler Higbee. So
despite him not having a commercial with his wife working out together.
Yeah, dude, this is I think a great player comparison.
Yeah, I totally agree. Agree with everything you said. The toppings, the sauce, the ratio, the thinness, the crispiness, the price. Made for the grill, encouraged to be on the grill. It's a great package and a great recommendation. Thank you, Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler, motherfucker. So hey, we're gonna finish up with the song of the week. So John, tell me, what's your song of the week?
At risk of being tacky, I felt the final podcast of this football season, I would indulge in what you've heard in some previous episodes as our outro song, which is a song called Denver by a band called Life Never Lost.
Awesome.
Yeah. I thought it would be a good fitting end to the season. It's a EDM style song made with a lot of Apple loops and stuff put together and mixed and mastered for your listening pleasure. So if you're into that kind of music, definitely check it out.
That's awesome, man. Hell yeah, I love that. That's so cool, dude. You have to add that to the playlist,
Yeah, we'll add it to the playlist. It's on Spotify. And we can even add it to the end of this episode since we've used it as outros before.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome, man. Love that.
What about you, man? What is your final song of the season?
So the final song of the season is by a band called Trashdog. And the song is, it's a good song. And it's called Wet Brain. I had Wet Brain there for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Great song. This is one of those albums that it's very kind of all over the place, very punk rock, has a lot of electronic in it. Kind of borrows from all kinds of influences, in my opinion, from things like the Magnetic Fields to Dead Kennedys to Devo. It's a great song. My friend Chris, shout out to my homie Chris, put me onto this group. It's actually, I think it may even be like a one-person group. It's the guitarist from this band called Leche. And the song is called Wet Brain. The band is Trashdog. Just a great song. It transforms you right to the 80s. Makes me think of all those bands that I kind of mentioned all in one. It has like 27 songs on this album.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes all over the place, and I really have to hand it to them. It's really it really kind of grabs you, and there's definitely songs throughout this whole album of 27 songs that really stand out, and this was one of them that I really enjoyed, man. Great like guitar intro and just the structure of the song. So I will happily share this. Again, it's called Wet Brain by Trashdog.
And in the band name Trashdog, is the word trash a verb or an adjective?
That's a great question, man. I just can tell you it's all one word, Trashdog.
Oh, it's all one word.
Trashdog.
Okay, well, sounds like a noun then.
Trashdog.
Because it could be trashing a dog.
It could be, yeah.
I like dogs in music.
I love dogs, so yeah, hell yeah. Fucking look at us, man. Check us
All
out.
right, man.
We've I'm probably putting a 2-hour episode, which is pretty fucking awesome. I can't wait to see how long. But we will be back at some point. We'll definitely keep you guys posted with, if we do any kind of dynasty coverage. But we're excited for our second season coming up here in 2020. We'll definitely keep you posted on any changes, any things we're going to do with format, anything that we'll do with the things that we cover. Try to bring you some more pizza, do a bit more interacting this year. I know I've been sort of lazy with the interacting and kind of keeping consistent with the posts, but I just love fantasy, and it's just so fucking fun. So
It's a great start for
yeah,
a first season, dude.
Totally. I'm not
First experience with podcasting, and
Totes.
you're already guessing, and
Totes.
or being a guest on another podcast.
Yeah,
and
that'll be a lot of fun, man.
starting your own.
That'll be a lot of fun, dude.
And then, if people have suggestions out there, things that they want to hear, things that they want to see, hit you up on your Instagram. Tell people where they can find us at.
Yeah, so hey, on Instagram you can find me at Fantasy Football Pizzeria. On Twitter it's FF Pizza Man, and you can find John everywhere at Life Never Lost. So definitely hit us up. Let us know any feedback, any suggestions, anything. We're happy to engage.
Awesome. And as mentioned before, we will close out with the band that I am in, Life Never Lost, and a song called Denver. You guys have a great off season.
Have an awesome season, a great off season, guys. God bless.
Yeah.